do is put it in our minds. Surely things will work out.
Yeah, stop using it. Don't use dope. Welcome to the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club. I'm your brother John.
This is Kiana.
And this is the intellectual gangster, your brother Donnie.
Hey, and this program is being brought to you as part of the New Image Project of the Community Development and Training Center, aka
See that?
See that?
You saw that?
I saw it.
Yeah. And we'd like to thank y'all for tuning in, helping us to redefine what's cool. Man, Freestyle Friday.
Yes, and smart is the new gangster.
And it is.
Indeed.
And always has been.
Always was.
Good morning,
Yeah.
Sharonda. She is on now.
Oh, yeah. And she doing what she do. Thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate you. Man, we got a power-packed show today, too. Yeah. So you probably saw the 2023 Natural Food Festival. So we're going to be talking about that.
Right. And then we have the Black Business Festival.
Okay.
At Williams.
Is that kidpreneurs?
Yes.
Is it kidpreneurs or something like that?
Yes, I think something like
okay,
that.
Got you. Look, you mentioned it. Like, look, you did a Mr. Eben on us. We got this thing. I don't know nothing about it though.
No, it's kidpreneurs. You know, and so any kid that actually have their own business, they can come out there and vent for free.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, at Williams Park.
Yes, all day, like 12 to 6.
Yeah, I saw it. And so if you planning your day, you can start with the food festival because I think it's 9 to 3. Mm-hmm. And so you start there early and then go over to Williams Park. But yeah, there's been a lot happening in the city, man.
It is.
Like we've been like every weekend and every week is something.
So listen, we started out February, like the end of January, we came out like swinging and we ain't stopped.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did.
We really Tony kind of kicked it off.
Yeah, with the Black Excellence Gala.
Yeah.
Barbershop Book Club. Yeah, and from there it didn't stop.
It ain't stopped.
Yeah.
We on this road.
I like it. I like it.
Me too.
I like it.
It's kind of fun.
Oh man, and brother Donnie yesterday, man.
Oh, thank you so very much.
Masterclass, bro.
Thank you so very much.
Masterclass yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday meant a lot. Yesterday, I think, meant a lot to the world community.
Yeah.
I think that when we start studying people like Al-Haj Malik al-Shabazz and Ho Chi Minh, the great Ho Chi Minh, who today, May 19th, is their birthdays.
Yes.
Yeah, Malcolm X.
The birthday of the freedom fighters.
That's right.
I think as we start to explore them and study them more on a world scale, then we can see the appeal that they have to all of humanity because they had a universal cause, and that universal cause was the freedom of all people.
Right. That's right. And you reading the charter of the what is the Organization of African Union, OAU?
OAAU, yes.
OAAU, Afro-American.
Afro-American at that time, yeah. Which was revolutionary at that time.
That was revolutionary.
You know, it was still people being called colored.
Yeah, true. In
those days.
No, they was calling up boy.
Yeah, boy, I'm telling you. And, amongst other things.
Amongst other things, right. So, yeah.
I heard somebody call somebody a boy within the last few years, and I was so offended.
Wow, you was offended.
Oh, I was so offended.
Was it like on a public forum, or was it in media or something?
No, it was at their business.
Oh, so they at their business,
and they said, I knew this boy would be able to get it done for you.
Oh yeah, that's the.
I was so offended.
The good old boy, huh?
Yeah, and they do it intentionally because they don't call their friends boy.
Oh yeah. No, that's right though.
I have a strange boy story though.
Okay. Well, we got time today.
At one time, I was working in retail, and an individual came through, and he was an older man, and older European man, and he came through, and he was talking to me, and then eventually, I knew where the conversation was going. Sometimes, how you can just feel it.
Oh, yeah.
You can just feel it going there.
Yeah, it's about to be one of those.
So he felt like I was friendly enough, and he said, in my time, we didn't really consider it a big problem to call people boy. So I told him, I'm not going to say his last name. I called his name. I said, well, mister, I said, if you call me boy, I'm going to slap fire at you.
Yeah.
I didn't say fire, but I did tell him I'm going to slap something out of him. Yeah. And he was pretty frozen at that one, because you can't really control how somebody else is going to respond. Now, you can control what you say.
That's right.
But I will make you pay for saying it.
Yeah.
I think when somebody throw the first punch, you can't tell somebody what to do afterwards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you might throw a punch, but then I might throw a missile. But you can't be like, hey, that ain't fair. No, you can't tell nobody how to respond to your punch. But yeah, I heard the boy thing, and it just kind of, I was like, did he really?
That's true.
But so.
Yeah, they doing that. Listen, y'all, we're not advocating violence. We're advocating for self-defense.
Yeah, okay, let's say that.
and in that case, it wouldn't have been self-defense on my part. That would have been violence. So I would have been dead wrong.
Yeah.
But boy, he'd have been dead slapped.
Okay. But he would have learned.
He would have learned something. Listen.
You like Caden. You seen the little boy Caden say,
that's the kid, he go get these hands.
Yeah, talking about, so little Johnny hit me in the eye.
Okay.
And then on Friday, he doesn't get the treasure box, but I still have a
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
So let me tell you how this goes.
Pretty much.
And Johnny both are going to have rainy days and black eyes.
I'm telling you, definitely.
And that goes to what you were talking about Wednesday.
It does. And Malcolm X and Ho Chi Minh, both of them. They were both individuals. So
law of justice, right?
Good morning, Carla. Good morning,
B.
Crystal.
Good morning.
Carla, congratulations to Carla B. Carla B got a podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, she dropped it and like boom.
Yeah.
I remember her talking about it, and then next thing you know.
That's kind of how we roll, though.
Yeah.
Like
big ups. Hey, Ernest.
That's like we roll with people who do that. Like we talk about it, and then
next thing you know, it's there.
It's there. It's present. It's real.
Sister Carla, please tell Sister Miriam that I said Assalamu alaikum, and that I still do remember her when she was a baby. So I always get on her for that one.
Okay.
Her father and my father are very, very good friends.
Oh, that's amazing.
So I was thinking about it until I thought about it when I went to Maghrib this summer. So
yeah,
definitely.
All right, Shayna say, happy Friday, my peeps.
Shayna, what's good? What it do? What the business is?
Shayna has started swimming lessons.
Oh, congratulations.
Congratulations.
I love that. That's what time it is, man. And it's summer. So actually, we did a presentation that was before Mr. Edmond came out, where it was drowning prevention month or week. Dang, I'll be getting in trouble. But it was drowning prevention season.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. Cover the whole thing.
And really recognize the City of St. Pete's aquatics department and just, all of the different programs that they got. And I'm actually taking a tour. I'm going over to Jeannie Hall Pool on Monday. So shout out to Kim Burrell. Remember, she came in a couple of years ago. Seemed like a couple of years ago. But she came in and talked about all of the stuff that they're doing over there. And then Charles Park Pool with Brandy.
Brandy.
Yeah, Brandy Dorson is
Sis.
amazing.
And
Yeah.
Brandy done definitely came in and stopped it. She's a resident
water boss.
She's a resident mermaid like me.
Okay, yes, she is.
Yes.
She is water boss.
I can't speak this morning.
And Kennedy is a lifeguard over there.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if she still is.
That's my niece.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I didn't know it at the time.
You couldn't see she looked just like the neighbor. I know when you saw her, you had to say, well, that's a look right there.
Yeah. I ain't know. But then when I looked, I was like, yeah.
That's my sister's
like
daughter.
Yeah.
And my son starts as a lifeguard this summer. This
Okay.
summer. Yeah, he just passed his test and he got his assignment. So my youngest son, shout out to Yashu Sahir, and he starts off as a lifeguard this summer, 15.
Oh man, yeah, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. That's a gratifying career
Lifeguards
too. Right?
make some money.
Do they?
They get paid really well.
They get paid good.
Yes.
They get paid really well. Like
yeah. Do they have lifeguards at the beach? Like I was always at your own risk. It ain't no bay watching around here.
Right, they used to.
I
remember one of my friends was a lifeguard.
A beach lifeguard, like outside of that.
Yes.
Because what happens like after Parks and Rec, like lifeguarding?
But you know what? A lot of the beaches you see, there's a lot of hotels that's right there, and then they be having day passes and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's like somebody out there watching but not watching.
Okay, yeah, I see what you do. Because they watch them turtles.
Yeah.
you mess with them turtles, boy. You're gonna
That's
be
the truth.
In Pone, man.
Yes, you will.
Yeah, so it's really been an amazing week, man. Yeah, a lot happened.
Internationally,
yes,
we have the meeting of the Arab League today.
Okay.
And for the first time in nearly a decade, Bashar al-Assad, who is the president of Syria, will be allowed to attend the meeting of the Arab League. He had been blocked out and couldn't attend the meeting of the Arab League, but bin Salman, who is the crown prince of Saudi, or a place we call Saudi Arabia, has invited him along with Volodymyr Zelensky. So this should be a pretty interesting meeting of the Arab League.
Okay.
So let's keep an eye on that internationally. Remember, we're international people, so let's keep an eye on international affairs.
No, you're absolutely right. And I saw something where they was highlighting Japan, something going on in Japan, the G7.
The G7 summit, yes.
Yeah, that's different from the Arab League.
It is. In fact, Zelensky was invited to attend the G7 summit. He says that he may attend virtually, but he'll definitely attend the Arab League. Right. In person, which is interesting because he is the president of Ukraine attending a conference called by the quote unquote Arab leaders of the world. Right. So it's very interesting when you look at it, from a geopolitical standpoint.
It really is. Sharonda said that certain parts of the beach does have lifeguards. Thank you, Sharonda. I did not know that. I just haven't seen them. But yeah, no.
Do you go out to the beach a lot?
Not as much as I should. Like at one point I was going pretty regular, but I haven't been in a while. Matter of fact, me and my wife, we was just talking about that. Like we need a beach day. But she won't do the water though. Not because she can't swim. She just done been watching too many documentaries. You know your sister, Brother Donnie.
Yes.
And security and prevention.
Yes, most definitely.
Yeah. Oh no, she put her feet in, but she used to go. I mean, but then I'm talking about this was like recent developments when she stopped getting in the water too. Maybe 3-4 years ago, she stopped. But we used to go get in the water, all that stuff. But now,
not no more.
Not no more. I don't know if it was that one last red tide, and it was something that happened with the whales, and it was like all kind of stuff that was going on with the water. And she was like,
"Nah, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good on that. Pools, but beach, nah, I'm good.
I like it all. Y'all already know that.
Yeah, you jump off boats and everything.
Yeah, you just say
you're a boat jumper.
That sounds so fun.
A boat jumper.
Yeah. You
jump off big boats?
If it's that, I'm not jumping off the cruise ship.
Oh no! Yeah.
That's a nice drop.
Yeah.
That's a nice drop off a cruise ship.
You say a big boat.
Okay, that's what you're thinking.
But I jump off a yacht.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I jump off a yacht, and I'm jumped off a couple of yachts. Okay. I'm not jumping off the cruise ship.
So a yacht is like, so you'll jump off Starlight Princess. You jump off the Starlight?
On the last level.
Okay, that first one.
3 levels.
Yeah, the first one you'll take the leap. But after that,
depending on like if it's a good dare and some good money, I might.
Good dare. Good morning, Mama Blue.
Good morning. You know who else's birthday it is today?
Who?
UB.
Oh, UB. What's
happy
going
birthday,
on?
UB.
What's going on? What's going on? UB always got something that he bringing to the table. Look,
Yes, he does.
we talked about that too, right?
Oh,
Look, that's Kiana's butt.
no, okay, so I'm okay with it in the context because we talked about kind of the table on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
In that I just, when I hear it, when you like, what do you bring to the table?
I wish I could see it too. Like, you got the shoulder.
And listen, those shoulders tell a whole story, y'all. For who can't see Q, when Q start talking on their shoulders, you know it's about to get intense.
I'm just saying, it just like
it's
devalue. It just devalues the person to me when you be like, because again, I think it was like they say, if you have to ask that question, you already know what they bring to the table.
Yeah, or you're just not paying attention. That's what I say.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask,
you know what you ordered.
Hello.
You know what you ordered.
And then you know what's missing.
Exactly.
So when you go to Burger King and you say no onions and you get onions,
you know that you didn't want onions, but you got onions. Yeah.
I think the question is aimed towards men wanting to have agency. That's it.
Okay.
I think that's the basis. I think, though, oftentimes as a people, we lack the words to say what are on our mind.
Right.
So we don't really get it so much. But it's easier to imitate than it is to originate. So you don't come up with original questions. You usually ask the questions that you hear. Like in the 80s and the early 90s, how many people, said, "What have you done for me lately?"
What have you done for me lately?
Or what's love got to do with it?
That's right.
You know?
No romance without finance. Right?
You see what I'm saying? So
yeah, you're right.
So that's the deal. Yeah. So it can become annoying because it can become sloganeering, right? Somebody,
right. So I think we have ran it through the mud and back again and all that other stuff. So yeah,
we have to find new ways of expressing ourselves.
Yeah. And I saw that. And this, I guess, this is our Freestyle Friday recap of the week. But a part of that conversation when you were talking about choosing your mate and really choosing your partner, I think that's so valid because that's one of those things that we don't do and we don't teach our children.
That's true.
The significance and the importance of properly choosing a partner.
Right. And there's a historical aspect to that.
Yes, sir.
For nearly 400 years, partnerships among African people, among American African, among black folks, we weren't allowed to choose our partner.
Right.
When we were enslaved, you couldn't choose your partner. In fact, your partner was chosen not even by the slave master, but by the slave mistress.
Okay.
It was her role to play matchmaker on the plantation.
Wow.
Now, we get a skewed view because we think, okay, well, men and women fell in love and they quote unquote jumped the broom. Not at all. First things, there were no legal marriages among people who weren't citizens.
Right.
And to the 14th Amendment, there were no black citizens of the United States, slave or free.
Come on,
so no marriages were recognized. So there were no slave marriages that the quote unquote white man came and interrupted. And he came right in your marriage. There were no marriages. Yeah. We weren't allowed to have marriages. We weren't even allowed to be married. One of the things that we did upon emancipation, one of the first things we did was get married.
Yeah.
Because we always wanted to be married. Marriage was something that we respected. But jumping the broom was a PT test. People don't know that was a physical training, physical assessment.
Jumping the broom?
Jumping the broom was a broad jump.
Okay. I remember broad jump.
It was a broad jump. And it was done to test the physical fitness of the two people who were to be coupled. Remember, and during the time of plantation slavery, men and women didn't live together.
Mm-hmm.
There were barracks. There were barracks for men and there were barracks for women.
Right.
So there was no free mingling because that messed with the bottom line. Because if you free mingled and you hadn't already been castrated, then you could possibly produce a child that might not have the desired characteristics. See, this thing is nasty.
Mm-hmm.
We got a really, really funky history when we start studying slavery and capitalism, the making of American wealth, because we didn't have the agency as men ever to choose anything. Right. This is a very modern thing that we're approaching. So we can understand how it can ruffle feathers when men practice agency in choosing mates.
Right.
It's new for us.
Yeah. This is a new thing for us. What's that? Tell me about that. Tell me about that.
I'm just listening and
Tell me about that.
Looking and listening.
That was a reaction, though.
No. I'm just listening. Taking in.
Yeah. No, because it's a lot to take in, and when you consider, like what you said, knowing that it just makes so much sense. Like we would consider property, and I've read so many books, and I've read books on law and like slave codes where they outline, how you handle your property and the things that the way that you can treat a slave, and it was just horrific, man. To I won't even say a slave, an enslaved person,
right?
And the way that you can treat them, and the things that were allowed, and they literally had to like write laws. Oh, man, it was one that I read was basically saying that if you murdered a slave, it was like a $500 fine or something like that, but there was no real penalty. It was discouraged, but it wasn't like against the law, like because they were your property, and so you could do whatever you want with your property. But if you did murder a slave, quote unquote, unjustly, then it was a $500 fine. But those laws were never enforced.
Right. So who determines what was unjust?
The insurance company.
The insurance company, yeah. Because
remember now, this is a biblical law.
Yeah.
So this is backed up by the church. The Bible says in the Hebrew Tanakh, it says that you can beat a slave to death. An enslaved person, you can beat them to death.
Yeah.
This is the truth.
Wow.
So that's what they were drawing from for their moral compass.
Right.
But insurance companies determined what was excessive because African people had to be insured. So there were policies taken out. So if it was considered excessive, then maybe they may not pay out on the death.
Yeah.
But this is a horrifying event.
Because you think about that industry, and there was like mortgages on slaves, because like you couldn't just go out and buy a slave if you ain't have it. So how do you pay for a slave? You get some financing.
That's it.
And now there's mortgages that were held on your property, and if you couldn't pay, then they would foreclose and come and take your property, i.e., us, and sell you to another person who had means to be able to pay,
or a clearinghouse. Like you'd be sold to warehouses that just warehoused human beings
by the dozen.
That
was a thing too, right?
Indeed, it was for
individuals.
By the dozen. I want to say this. See, we complain about a lot of stuff, but we never had to be in a warehouse.
They call them schools.
Come on now.
They sent us to school. They ain't sent us to the warehouse. They sent us to school because when they took the chains off our hands and put them on our heads, man. Did I go there?
You went there this morning.
Emancipate yourself from mental slavery.
None but ourselves can free our minds.
Come on, man.
Have no fear of atomic energy, because none of them can stop the time and what the time demands. Right on.
I need to hop on there with the fellas.
Yeah.
This is a no coffee day for me.
Okay, how did that happen?
So if you hear my voice and you want to bring me coffee, I accept.
Yeah. We did a show on addictions.
Let me tell you, I only do coffee days that I do radio for real.
Okay.
Other than that, like I'm okay without doing coffee.
Okay.
Or like if I'm going to breakfast with somebody.
Right. Then you do coffee?
Yes.
Yeah, I do too. Is there a time when your coffee stop where it's like, okay, no coffee after?
Well, I only drink one. I usually only drink 1 cup unless there's something else going on. Like I may go to Starbucks every now and then. But when you drink Starbucks, you have to be real clear on what you drink and how you want it.
Yeah. So I haven't been doing Starbucks. I've been doing like Kawa and really Wawa's coffee. Or I just get it at home. My wife makes coffee every day.
I usually get it at home. I can do Wawa's. I can do
Starbucks. I just can't.
I can definitely a Starbucks. Like I already.
What they about $7-8 a cup now?
Maybe. Give me a nice caramel macchiato.
That's everybody's thing.
Upside down.
Okay, I don't know nothing about the upside down.
Make it upside down. Put a little extra caramel.
Brother Donnie, you do coffee? You're a coffee drinker?
I am, but I only drink. Well, I love espresso. So usually when I'm traveling out of the country, I'm an espresso guy. Okay. So I absolutely love it.
So them like shots though, right?
They are. And I'm absolutely amazing.
Stirring the cup, you just bam. Let me just get this.
Don't bang it. You better slurp it. Don't bang that thing because it's coming down hard when it does. It's coming in hot. But I'm usually an espresso guy. When I do have coffee, it's usually in the evening time.
Okay.
Oddly enough,
yeah,
I like my coffee black with sugar.
Yeah.
And I couple it with my cigars, and it's usually coffee, cigars, and conversation. That's how I like to wind down.
Okay.
So
wind
it's usually
down with coffee.
I do. Myself and Crystal.
I had somebody else because coffee from what I always understood was like to pick me up, not to wind down. So that's interesting to hear you say that.
They say Starbucks is nasty.
Okay.
So Maymon, I really like Black Rifle. I like Black Rifle coffee because it's very, very strong.
What is it?
Black Rifle.
Black Rifle. Okay.
Yeah, Black Rifle coffee.
Okay. So you're a coffee drinker. I just drink coffee.
No, well, like I would do an espresso. Like I can do the shots, depending. But usually it's in company with somebody. Mm-hmm. It's not by myself. If I'm going to drink coffee by myself, it's just a coffee with creamer. I don't need no sugar.
I don't do sugar either.
Yeah, because the creamer's already sweet enough. Like so.
Yeah, but my wife, she gotta have it though. Like she had coffee every day.
I don't do creamer or milk or anything. It's usually black.
Yeah.
Black and sugar. Yeah, and those are the only two things. It was interesting, man. Coffee, chocolate, sugar, indigo, rum, all of these were products that fueled what we call the slave, quote unquote, slave trade. I don't like to use that term. The human trafficking and forced labor economy.
That's right.
And they're all things that we don't need to survive.
Mm. Yeah. So Aaron McFarley says, I love cafe. That look fancy. Bustelo.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know nothing about that.
I can do a
What's
shot of
Cafe
that.
Bustelo?
It's kind of.
Am I saying it right? Brother Donnie, help me say it right.
Like
Brother Donnie, the linguist. Hold on. How you supposed to say it?
You got it, Muhammad. You got it.
It's
Bustelo.
like Colombian coffee, right? It's a Cuban coffee. It's a Colombian Cuban coffee.
Let's see.
Like you can buy it like out of almost anywhere. Like you can go to like Family Dollar. It's a nice coffee though.
Shayna says she does the dark Colombian roast with creamer only. Oh, okay. Aaron said I said it right. Look, Dulles County Schools. Go ahead. That's what they were still teaching phonics, right?
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Shout out to all the graduates.
Yes. Yeah.
Your Lakewood High School graduated yesterday, right?
Yeah, I think so. I saw the pictures.
It
was Wednesday. It was Wednesday.
For Lakewood.
Okay. Something was happening yesterday too, though. So we had college graduates, we had the high school graduates.
We had college graduates this weekend. Coming in, like St. Pete College graduated.
It's that season.
On past Saturday. Mm-hmm. And then we rolled right into Monday with St. Pete High School. Tuesday was Boca Ciega.
Okay.
Pinellas
Park was one of those days too.
Tuesday. They graduated with the same day Boca did.
Same day Boca. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, so congratulations to the graduates.
Yeah, that's what time
and all
it
is. Stuff. I would love to have Mackenzie on. We'll talk that because she had almost $1 million in scholarships herself.
Oh wow!
Over $740,000 she was awarded herself.
I love that. That's what we call Black excellence.
Yes. Fantastic.
Yeah. So what do y'all think about this? Talking about graduations, I saw a post that said, how did it go? You were not there for their lives. I'm paraphrasing, but basically saying that one of the parents was not there during their lives, but they was there for the graduation pictures. So basically calling out a deadbeat parent who showed up to graduation and was like all up in the videos, all up in the pictures. What y'all think about that?
Well, I think you have parents like that anyway. You see them when holidays and stuff like that. You see them with the pictures of their children and they're like all year round. Wow. Like, you know what I mean? But they want that funny, photo. But I mean, this is real.
Wow.
Wow.
Technical schools yesterday, Sharonda said too.
Oh, okay. It's a sad thing when parents like pop in and they don't understand the significance of your presence, right?
Right.
And then when children are looking for you to be involved, and a lot of parents think that it has to be financial to make you there. Like that's the part that you bring in it, but it's your presence more than anything else.
Absolutely.
And it's sad when parents and whole miss out on their children because they think they have no financial backing to give them. And then even though this is a very significant moment, your child wish you would have been there throughout the rest of them and not just the end, and show that you put something towards it when you really didn't.
That's what Kiss said. Kiss said they're ashamed, which is why they show up when the eyes are on the situation. It's sadly not even about them being there for the kids. So I take that to mean like you couldn't not be there.
Right.
Because people going to be looking and saying, wait, so-and-so. So you there to be there. To not be there.
And it's the cover.
But you ain't really there for the child.
Right. It's the cover your lie. Because you know what? Because them parents be like, when you see the picture, they be like, I have my kid. I can't get my kids because, such and such won't let me. They have their story that they paint. So then when they, they got to keep on with the narrative.
Right. Sharonda says, you have that in athletes' lives. One hasn't been in there, and as soon as they sign a deal, they're there and trying to be there. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. Shayna says, I love graduations. Shayna just knows it. I love graduations. You find out who procreated with each other and be shocked.
Oh, Shayna, you are so right.
It's true. That's what I'm laughing. It's true.
You be like, wait, that's it?
Wait,
yeah.
Y'all made it work, huh?
Kids gave us a bullseye when I was talking about Donnie, what you think? You're quiet?
Well, I'm always trying to assess it from a perspective that we might not see it from. And I wonder, how often have parents been taught how to be parents? A lot of what I think we can all agree that a lot of what we know, a lot of what we claim to know, we grab from television and we grab from media. And you usually see ceremonies on television and in media. Mm-hmm. It's that hard part that comes between the ceremonies that you usually don't see, because it's not easy to make a series about parenting in that way and in that manner.
Right.
So how many of the individuals who just quote unquote show up were actually taught how to be present?
That's a good question.
And that
you got people that's there that ain't present.
And that puts a onus back on society, because now we have to ask ourselves, are we only preparing ourselves for the ceremony? If we take another shot at it, how many of us really know what we want our wedding day to look like relative to what we want our marriage to look like?
Yeah. Yeah, because we spend a lot of time on the wedding day, but not as much time on the
marriage. I mean, the day after. You know what
week though, because you on your cruise, you zip lining.
Since I'm late to the game,
that next month,
I have an idea of what I want both to look like.
Your wedding day and your marriage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I do.
And so
those are like real conversations that need to be had early.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
And you kind of know. I mean, you should know, or your people who love you should know the character of the person that you wish to procreate with.
Okay, so we say that. So then when we talk about this, you're talking about mature people and who maybe possibly waited. When hormones kick in, we see where we have, teen moms. I was a teen parent. You know what I mean? And the idea of picking a great mate is good in theory, but a lot of people are not waiting until you have that mindset to say, let's pick that. So the vast majority of people over here don't even know themselves a lot of times when they end up having these children. So you're asking somebody who don't know themselves, who's just hitting puberty, and this is what my body feels like, and this is what I'm supposed to be doing at this point, to say, hey, that person ain't a good match. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you got to look at it. When we see the big gap in children in their ages, you have a lot of people who had kids when I had kids, and then you'll see people wait, and then they had it a little bit. And
my children spread out. So
you see the difference.
Like, what is it? 31, 27, and then 20. And so like we got like long pauses in between.
And you see the different parenting styles.
Yeah.
In between your 31, your 27, and then your 20-year-old.
Yeah,
so like when
you're right.
So when we're talking about like picking your mate, like we got to also think about, we're talking to the vast who is having children before they're 20.
Right, and they shouldn't be the ones charged. It's unfair as a society for us to charge those people with picking their mate. We have to have the social infrastructure where people who are wiser than them help them pick their mate. And this is,
but because that's part of this village.
Okay, so let's say this. So your wife say that's why kids need parents and not friends. And let me say this: being a teen mom, I had parents who also guided me. You know what I mean? And gave me really great tools, but that still didn't stop me from being a teen parent. But let me say this, and then on top of that, most of I was quote unquote like the good girl. Like I wasn't out there doing anything. It's something that just happened.
You
now,
just
I
was
did.
slick.
Wait,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah. And not only that, you didn't choose wrong. You see, you were a teen. Just because you're a teenager doesn't mean you choose wrong.
Yeah.
There are teenagers who get married. Remember,
we've been
I'm
together since we was teenagers.
I married Crystal when she was 19.
Okay.
So just because you're a teenager doesn't mean that you're wrong, especially if you've been raised correctly and being a teenager. And just getting pregnant doesn't mean you did anything wrong, because you didn't choose somebody who wasn't there.
I want to say this though, because I think this is another one of the things too. Like what you said, Kiana, you was kind of alluding to it before I interrupted, and I apologize. The idea that if something's wrong with the kid, is automatically something wrong with the parent, because like what you saying, you had good parents, you still did what you did. Like it's a lot of parents, like my parents, they wasn't, Cliff and Claire Huxtable.
Yeah.
But I had a good set. You know what I'm saying? Like I was blessed. You know what I mean? And I knew what I knew. I knew what I needed to know. And I still made decisions that I made. And so like when I hear about, the parenting and it starts at home, I struggle with that sometimes, because I know, like, my wife, we talk about it all the time. Some of her cousins, like, they have, like, their parents.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it was like some parents who I wish that was my parents at one point, but it's like, dang. And the kids still turned out bad. So like this whole idea, like it's the parents, I struggle with that, because I know sometimes a parent can do all that they can and the child's still going to have what we call, me and my wife, we call it, their own life experiences.
They are.
That's how when we see our children doing stuff that we be like, wait, where'd they get that from? We know we taught them different, but it's them making their decisions and having their own life experiences, just like we did. Like it was some stuff that our parents taught us not to do, and we did exactly the opposite.
And there's some parents that are absolutely rotten who have amazing kids.
I agree, but I think it's balanced. It's balanced, but sometimes it's a broad brush. We don't subscribe to all, as Keanu was saying, but it's a very broad brush, and I see it so much. Oh, it's the parents. It all starts at home. You got people that came from really good households that just made bad decisions.
What's the probability, though, John? I mean, I think that's what we have. That's what we have to look at. We have to look at what's the probability versus what's the possibility. Of course, it's possible, but is it probable? And that's the thing. It
depends on how many kids they have. The more kids they have, the more likely that one of them are gonna.
Okay.
You see it. If you have one child, you have a lot more control over this one child. That you probably spend way more time. You have your time that you can devote to. Once you start having 2 children, you're stretched a little bit more thin. 3, 4, 5, and then you think you giving everybody their individual time and all that other stuff. You have 5 children that you're trying to mold into their own individual person, but it's kind of hard to do so. And then so the more children you have, the less time, I feel, this is a Kiana thing, the views that's expressed with Kiana, not everybody else, is that you have a little bit less time to pour into them. So, when you have people with multiple households, how can you properly help raise all of them? Because somebody somewhere is missing time sometime.
Check
what I mean?
I hear that. This is what Kiss said. I like this too. She said, I've also seen people who, in my opinion, were very subpar parents, but they had amazing children, honor roll, respectful. Kids are individual people as well. I like that. And then we were talking about choosing. She said very few people are actually choosing the people they're raising kids with. A lot of them made youthful mistakes and ended up stuck with people.
With the youthful mistakes or immature mistakes, because there's a lot of individuals that are in their 40s and 50s that are still choosing the type of people that they would have chosen had they been in their teens.
Okay.
And I think that growth note plays something into the way society is built. But in order for us to really understand how we're structured in this thing, we have to understand the role of family and culture. And in culture, family has a particular role, and that role is to work as what do they call it? Ombudsmen, right? They're first to work as counselors, as fiduciary. They have fiduciary responsibility to the individuals that they raise, to oversee them and make sure that they're in the best possible position to make decisions. I think that when we're trying to honestly assess on the quote unquote deadbeats that pop up at graduation,
right?
Those individuals, very rarely does a person meet a life experiences meet life experiences that change their character. So usually the person that you meet is the person that you'll get. It'll just permutate based on those life experiences. Now, behavior changes and people's character can change. I mean, people can change. I think we're all, aware of that.
Thank God.
But just know that
thank you, Jesus.
Yeah, that's the risk you're running. And then you remember too, you think with the brain that you're given. You can only think with the brain that you're given. So when parents matter, you got to look at a person's parents to determine that person's potential. Oftentimes,
I think that they definitely matter. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, so Crystal said when children are parented, there is a relationship built where the child is able to understand that their parents are trying to guide them as opposed to compete with them. And then Yubi said that parents teach you one thing, siblings and family teach you other things, friends and life teach you something totally different. I agree.
Are we taking that into account for the person though who's absent?
For the person who's absent, who taught you that?
But the person who's absent is teaching you something as well. Because if you look at it, they're always looking for that absentee parent. You ever see the kid that's looking out the window? Mm-hmm. And what happens is when you have an absentee parent, you have that child then start to imagine what this parent looks like in their head. And then they always chasing the dream of what a father figure should be or a mother figure should be until you get the proper help. Right. And that's just like you hear the parent who gets all the slack that's there. Like they don't get a other parent there because this is the only consistent thing that they have in their life. So you get everything. You get all the frustration that they would have get to the absentee parent. But because that parent is not there when they do show up, that person is afraid that they will leave. They don't express their frustration. They just want to show love because they want that person to stay and thinking if I do something, I may be the reason why this person is not coming in my life. Because at that point, they don't understand that's their problem, not your problem. But when you know as a child that one of your parents is not there and you're trying to figure out, you think it's something you're doing.
Yeah, it's a lot to unpack in that.
Right, so we got to take a little break.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, can we bleed this over past the break?
Yeah, we absolutely can.
Yeah, we can come back. It's Freestyle Friday.
And so look, so when we take this break, y'all don't go nowhere. What you do when we on our break, you tag your friends, tell them to tune into the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club. After the break, we're going to be talking with the two of the three black vegan girls about the 2023 Natural Food Forest and Festival that's coming up, and a lot of good stuff. So make sure that y'all tune in, stick and stay, lock in. You're listening to the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club right here on 99 Jams. The Burg.
This is Robert Boyd at Deuces Corner in South St. Petersburg, which has been a staple in this community for literally generations. So Charlene and Chandra thought no better place to bring back the Natural Food Festival.
The Deuces is sort of like the heart of the African American community. It has been the heart of the art, culture, economic center for many, many years.
Charlene Edwards and Shudra Allison started the Natural Food Festival back in 2019.
The whole idea was to introduce plant-based eating to Black and brown communities and really just tell people about the benefits.
Unfortunately, the pandemic put the festival on a long hiatus, but this Saturday it's back and with a new edition, the grand opening of the Deuces Food Forrest.
We are lacking of healthy options in our community. So the Deuces Food Forest is set up to bring some of our urban produce to be able to sell and set up, so we'll have those options.
A project years in the making, Charlene and Chandra are now hoping to turn it over to the public.
Recruiting the community to help build it,
right.
to help sustain it, and then tell us what they want to see there.
Right.
So
right.
It's not just us pushing information. It's a two-way street where people tell us what they're interested in, and we make that available.
Right. At the end of the day, it is for the community.
And during the festival is the perfect time for families to try some of those healthier options.
Open up our palates with some mindful tasting so that you can taste something new, something different, and really kind of roll it around in your head.
Right, really think about it. Yeah.
Think about how that makes you feel.
In South St. Pete, Robert Boyd, ABC Action News.
It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. It was the age of wisdom, it was the age of foolishness. Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. Just brushing up on some of my favorite literary classics. Even if a page turner like this isn't up your alley, did you know our libraries offer so much more than classic books? There's also things like passes to local museums. You can download ebooks onto your Kindle device. And super cool things like a team gaming program. Visit your local library and see all it has to offer.
Agape Soul's Shoutique. High-end boutique looks and quality with affordable pricing. Located at 6025 Martin Luther King Street South in St. Pete. Choose from our amazing selection of stylish, fashion-forward heels, wedges, boots, children's shoes, accessories, and much more. You can shop now and pay later, interest-free with Afterpay. Subscribe to our website and get huge savings on our latest products at AgapeSoulShoutique.com. For more information, call 727-379-1318. Come give your feet the royal treatment and check us out at Agape Soul Shoutique today.
President Volodymyr Zelensky is expected to appear at the G7 summit over the weekend to appeal for more arms and aid for the war. Russia and Ukraine have agreed to a 2-month extension of the Black Sea grain deal, which grants Ukraine safe passage to export food and fertilizer. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said the extension would save lives.
These agreements matter for global food security. Ukrainian and Russian products feed the world. Under the Black Sea Initiative, more than 10 million tons of food have been exported.
The Pentagon said Thursday an accounting error led to the overestimate of the value of arms shipments sent to Ukraine by the Biden administration as part of a $44 billion military aid package approved by Congress last year. The Pentagon said by correcting the errors, it could send another $3 billion worth of weapons to Ukraine. The U.S. military has dropped its claim that a man killed by a U.S. drone strike in northwest Syria May 3rd was a senior al-Qaeda leader. In interviews with the Washington Post, family members denied 56-year-old Lotfi Hassan Misto had any ties to al-Qaeda, said he was a former bricklayer and father of 10 who was tending his sheep when a U.S. missile killed him. So far, U.S. Central Command has refused to say who its target was. Meanwhile, Syrian President Bashar al-Assad is in Saudi Arabia to attend his first Arab League summit since Syria was suspended from the group 12 years ago, as Syria descended into a devastating civil war following Assad's violent crackdown on protesters. Earlier this month, the Arab League agreed to readmit Syria as part of an effort to reintegrate the war-torn nation in the region. Volodymyr Zelensky is also in Jeddah, where he's addressing the summit and will meet with Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman and others. Tens of thousands of Israeli nationalists escorted by heavily armed soldiers marched through occupied East Jerusalem Thursday, marking Flag Day, which celebrates Israel's seizure of Jerusalem and the West Bank in the 1967 Middle East War. Many of the marchers chanted death to Arabs and directed racist slurs at Palestinians. Palestinian residents of the old city's Muslim quarter were beaten by Israeli ultra-nationalists. Far-right National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir was among senior politicians who joined the march. Ben-Gvir was previously convicted of racist incitement against Arabs and supporting a terrorist group. AFP's Jerusalem correspondent Rosie Scamell published video of Israelis throwing sticks, stones, and bottles at journalists at the Damascus gate, writing, quote, "They cheer every time they hit us with projectiles." 3 journalists were wounded, at least 2 of them with head injuries.
I see what you did there.
Oh,
I see what you did there. Welcome back to the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club. I'm your brother John.
This is Kiana.
And it's the intellectual gangster, brother Donnie.
And this program is being brought to you as part of the New Image Project of the Community Development and Training Center, aka See That?
See that?
And we would like to thank y'all for tuning in to help us to redefine what's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so before the break, we were shouting out the graduates and the parents, and then we got into a really great conversation about the parents that show up and be all in the video. I'm like channeling my Suge Knight.
Right.
All in the videos, all in the stage, right? But we're not present. And then we started really addressing some of our thoughts just on, causes, causation, and impact. So parenting.
I mean, we talk about it all the time. Like, as parents, we're going to make mistakes, right? We don't do everything perfect. But you want to think that you have your children's best interests in mind. And sometimes you don't. And then I'll go back to what Donnie say. Unfortunately, is a lot of people wasn't taught. You know what I mean? And they think they're doing better than what was done to them, but they're not. You know, abusers become abusers a lot of times, because even though they say you really have to do the work and be conscious about your steps to not become what you didn't like about your parents or anything else.
A lot of times what I found, though, the thing that we're trying to not be is exactly what we end up becoming.
Yes.
And so as hard as we trying to not be that, it's like homeboys. I had a lot of partners that go to prison and then they come home and they like, you know, like, what you up to, bro? I'm just trying to stay out of trouble. Say like them the ones that's always in trouble. But and when I stopped trying to stay out of trouble and I just found something else to get into that wasn't trouble, then I stayed out of trouble.
Yeah, behavior only changes when it finds a functional equivalent.
Okay.
And this is the reality. This is behavioral analysis.
Right.
Behavior will only change when it finds a functional equivalent. I think the question that I had.
Dang, that mean I'm kind of smart then. This whole staying out of trouble thing ain't working for nobody.
Well, you know you're a gangster, and smart is the new gangster. Come on now.
Because it didn't work for nobody. It was like, okay, just find something else to do.
That's the old gangster.
Okay.
The old gangster don't work because the old gangster is predicated on ignorance.
Yeah.
But smart is the new gangster. So my thing is this, and I understand, especially when you know the work that you put in as a parent, right?
Yeah.
You know the love that you put in, you know the days that you were there, you know, you were cleaning up poop, you were cleaning up all other kind of things, right? You had to clean up relationships, you had to give hard talks. But in the end, that presence of the parent is there for the child.
Yeah.
It's not there for the other parent.
There you go.
So how are we willing to love our children enough to remove our ego from the situation and even ask the child, man, how did it feel when you saw your mom there today? How did it feel when you saw your dad there today?
Yeah.
How did it feel when you saw that? Because this is the child's event.
It's their moment.
It's their moment.
Yeah.
How often as parents do we hijack kids' moments in order to project the pain that we've experienced with another individual onto that moment?
Wow.
You know, we have to ask ourselves even when we're making the assessment, we side-eye. I mean, it happens. We're human, right?
Man, this is tough.
We side-eye. But it ain't for us.
Yeah.
That wasn't for you. That graduation was theirs. Now, you felt like it was yours because you bought the shirts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You felt like it was yours because you bought the family. You felt like it was yours because you see that child's success being your product. But it's not.
Wow.
That child, you remember how we just came to the point, right? We just conceded the point that sometimes parents can be really good and then children can have unsuccessful products, right?
Right.
And vice versa, right? But the product still is the child's.
Yeah.
The parent can be good, the child gets time, the child has to do that time.
Right.
The parent can be poor. The child gets a PhD. His name is on that PhD. That's his graduation or her graduation, not ours.
Wow.
So we have to assess that even when we assess the deadbeatedness. I just coined a new word.
That's a new word.
The deadbeatedness. The dead brutality. The necro actions.
Look, you channeling Mr. Edmond, because I know Mr. Edmond is the one who usually make up the words and coin the phrases on the show. so the deadbeatedness.
The deadbeatedness of the parent is not a reflection of the progression of the child.
Real deal. So look, in a few minutes we have Shudra Allison and Nurse Shar going to be coming in, and we're going to be talking about this 2023 Natural Food Festival. And so in that context, what I wanted to do was just kind of start the conversation like this, y'all, and please feel free to chime in. It's Freestyle Friday. Share what's on your mind. But I want to just read something really quickly that talks about it so we can frame it and set the conversation, right? So the Black community consistently faces hunger at higher rates than non-Black communities due to social, economic, and environmental challenges. There was a study conducted by the USDA in 2021 that found that nearly 20% of adults living in American African, y'all know where I got this from, American African or Black homes experience food insecurity. And this is more than, we experienced it more than 3 times the rate of white households. And so we wanted to start having a conversation about food insecurity. And then some of the things that are being done to address it, like creating natural food forests, access to produce. One of the things that we've been talking about was how we go into these corner stores, and when you go into a corner store, there's no real food. It's a lot of processed, things for you to eat, but no real food. And to address that, there's been this growing movement to create food forests, youth farm, and really introduce us, reintroduce us to the idea of growing our own food and really paying attention to the nutrition that's in it. So we're going to talk about that. But I just want to get y'all thoughts, man, on this food insecurity. Have you seen it? Have you experienced it? And I know our brother Donnie ready, man, to really, because he's our resident researcher. So here's the thing too, like I love this because when we say stuff here with the intellectual gangster, like he's not gonna let us just say stuff.
No, he won't.
Like, hold on, where that at? Let me find that. Like he gonna go get it, and I appreciate that because it's keeping us honest and it's keeping us factual. And so I definitely appreciate you sending that. But yeah, food insecurity is a big problem. Food doesn't stop.
It is. But we have a lot of. So I'm gonna tell you, we have a lot of resources, right? We see a lot of food, like Story 727. They give away food every weekend.
Yep.
Almost. To make sure that we have proper stuff that's in our house. We have 22nd. They be having stuff out there.
Yeah. Positive Impact.
Right.
I was out there. Carolyn Brubeck.
You can see down the street at 22nd. They have also a food bank.
Yeah, Mercy Keepers, they doing that thing.
They're doing that.
Wings Fellowship.
We Feed the Hungry Incorporated.
We Feed the Hungry.
Brother Donnie and Sister Barbara.
I started. Yeah.
You have Prayer Tower up there.
Yeah.
They have one. So I think we definitely have some resources out here. It's about people being knowledgeable enough to go and use them and tap in.
This is when I'm going to kick it over to Brother Donnie to talk about, because those are responses, but there's a certain system that created the need for us to be, passing out food and lined up in cars to receive food. And so, Brother Donnie, what are some of the systemic things that we can address?
One of the pains of being part of an ethnic outpost that used to be a black community, but now it's more of an ethnic outpost because a community, by definition, can provide for its own sustenance. But we've never been a community since we haven't been a community since we've been cut off from the land. And even the idea of land control, land ownership, and the ability to use the land to provide for us the sustenance that we need to support a community, to even have enough magnesium in our diet so that we don't have to supplement it because we're eating food that's been leached of vital minerals. It's a land question. And every question that relates to American Africans is a land question. And unless we're talking about land, then we're going to always be at the mercy of individuals who want to feed us. There's no reason on earth why 2/3 of all of the arable land on the planet Earth should be on the African continent, and American Africans should be dying because we have deficiencies in our diets.
Yeah.
Even the things that we choose to eat are foreign to us. We did not evolve to live in North America. African people did not evolve to live in North America. African people evolved to live between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. We have deficiencies in vitamin D because we're melanated people living in an ice box. America is in the Northern Hemisphere. America is not our home, but we're people who live in a place where you need much less melanin than we have.
So can I say it this way? Because when we say America is not our home,
yes,
I guess it's not our native home. Because this is all I know.
Yeah, it's your house.
Okay, help me with that.
It's your
America. Like I ain't got no home. Like
America, right? America is your house, but it's not your home. And if we don't understand that, then we don't understand things like UV radiation. Okay, let's talk about vitamin D synthesis, right? Your body has to synthesize vitamin D. It doesn't naturally produce it. It has to get it from outside sources. Usually those sources are the sun. If you don't have access to the sun, then you'll have vitamin D deficiencies. Many of the things that we pray about can be fixed with vitamin D. I'm going to say that again. Many of the things that we pray about and pray for can be fixed with vitamin D.
And vitamin D, the sun is
one of the best producers. But that sun is blocked by the melanin that we have in our skin. And since we don't get the direct sunlight that we evolved to have, which is the sunlight of many of us from West Africa, then we have to supplement our diet. But if we're not supplementing our diet properly, some of the effects of vitamin D deficiency, psychosis, we go crazy.
Yeah.
Especially when we're in the northern part of America. So when you see people in New York and Chicago and Milwaukee and they going crazy, much of that is due to deficiencies in their nutrition.
Yeah, I've seen the research and some studies on that too. I remember King Ree used to talk about that a lot, about when we was having our conversations around stop the violence and gun violence, and he would always connect nutrition and food and what we're eating and introduce that, I should say, into that conversation.
Lead exposure.
Yeah,
many of the homes that we see, when you don't control the land, you don't control where you live. I'm gonna say that again.
Yeah.
When you don't control the land, you do not control where you live.
Right.
And where you live, if it's controlled by individuals who are moving on a profit motivation, then you will live in the poorest areas and you will pay the most.
So that, hold on, I want to just let this soak in and contextualize it. When you don't control the land, you don't control where you live. Right now, we're having a conversation about the redevelopment of 85 acres that Black people once lived on, and how we can right the wrongs of that. But the same way that I roll it, the same way.
Come on, then.
The same way that we was moved and shepherded off of those 85 acres. It like I said, when you said that, when you don't control the land, you don't control where you live. That's what came to my mind. Like we once lived there, but then we no longer do. The Deuces once lived on the Deuces. Coming back to the Deuces, we're in a renaissance right now. But yeah, right. And even then, I saw an article that said, like, I think maybe 14% of the population lived on 2% of the land in the city at that time. And so they had us like punched
into a colony.
Into a colony. Ooh.
And what we experienced was colonialism.
Yeah.
You see how the conversation comes all the way back.
Oh, yeah, it does. And to that point, what you're eating and who's feeding you when you live in on land that you don't own or you don't control, you subject to somebody else until you take responsibility for it yourself.
This is the truth.
Yeah.
So we need a bit of this good earth for our own.
Come on.
So this is the
so the demand ain't paychecks when we talk about reparations.
Well, not alone, not paycheck alone,
not just checks.
Yes, not just
we need
checks.
Some dirt.
That's what was taken from us.
Yeah, the land.
Yeah. The first thing and I tell you, that's the first thing that the colonizer came and got, because he didn't bring any on the ship.
Yeah.
He bought a lot of people. He bought a lot of diseases. He bought a lot of rats. Yeah. He bought a lot of the bed bugs. He bought a lot of lice. He bought a lot of syphilis. He bought a lot of gonorrhea. But he didn't bring any land.
Right.
So
that's what they discovered.
That's what they quote unquote.
Yeah, they discovered the land. Angela Brown, this is her topic here, and I do remember.
I see she going in.
Yeah, she going in, and so we were talking about the food pantry. She said, believe me, it wasn't like this. We were talking about all of the resources and things that's available. Believe me, it wasn't like this in 2011 and 12. Once the food desert opened up and the conversation began, it became a popular conversation. But the reality was, and still is, this is by design.
Come on now.
Yeah. And I mean, we saw it, and we see this is what gave rise to the conversations around the grocery co-op and the one community grocery co-op.
Yeah.
Come on. This is what gave rise to the conversations around one community grocery co-op was when I think it was either Sweet Bay or Walmart. Which came second? Walmart was the second one.
Yeah, Walmart.
So Sweet Bay was there at Tangerine Plaza, and then it closed, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, Tangerine Plaza closed!" Oh.
Right.
What we gonna do? So Walmart came in. Then Walmart came in, stayed, left again, and so it was still like, "Oh my God, what we gonna do?" And our response to that was like, "Okay, well, why do we keep waiting for Superman? Like, can't we organize ourselves? And aren't there models and examples of where people in similar situations have put themselves in positions to be able to feed, clothe, and shelter themselves?"
Right.
And so we started this co-op conversation, which gave birth to the one community grocery co-op. And I want to give a shout out to Erica Hardison for really keeping that going and the work that she's been doing. We also, Youth Farm was another one of those conversations because we were having, like, this was our response to, the Tangerine Plaza situation and how can we begin to really feed ourselves. And so when you see One Community Grocery Co-op, you see Youth Farm, it has an origin story. And by God's grace, we were, a large part of that. And I'm excited to see where it's going. And I think we just need to continue to expand it. And I think this is a great opportunity for us to introduce to some, present to others.
This is true.
Shudra Allison,
hey,
the Burg
everybody.
Cares in the building.
Yes, Power Plug Radio.
Power Plug Radio. Yeah. See, I wasn't finna do all that. I ain't know which hat. So,
gotta read it down.
So Power Plug Radio. The Burg Cares, ME Marketing,
The other home of Tampa Bay Breakfast Club.
The
home
this
of
is true.
She Say.
Yes, I'm telling you, all of that.
It's
all
like
of
a
that.
cultural hub.
It is.
Urban drink.
We got it going on, y'all.
Yeah.
Cheers over here. Everybody knows your name.
Exactly.
Y'all know every show we announcing something that's happening in Urban. So if you've never seen the proprietor, owner, operator, founder, visionary of Urban Drinkery,
like Mystical say, here I go.
Here I go.
Yes. Well, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
And I heard you guys mention about the grocery co-op, things like that, which will go us into the Natural Food Fest we're having this weekend, which they will be there at the Natural Food Fest. Okay, there we go.
There we go. Okay, I had to free it up. There.
Okay.
So, just one of them.
Okay. Boom. There we go.
Reality radio, y'all.
There we go. Okay. So Natural Food Fest is going on the May 20th, Saturday, from 9 to 3.
Look, hold on. Let me say it like this. That's tomorrow.
Yes, it's tomorrow, guys. Yes.
You know how we do it. We say Saturday. May 20th, we think we got time.
Right. Then we really dawned on us like, wait, that's tomorrow. Today the 19th. Yes.
Tomorrow.
Because yesterday I really felt like it was Friday.
Right. I know this week is like going by slow or something. This week is just.
I said something to my client. I was like, "You going to Diane?" She was like, "No." And then I thought about it. Oh. It ain't Saturday.
I saw that. Somebody posted that. They said, "Man, I was having a great Friday until I realized it was Wednesday."
Right, like that. Oh man, that's what it was.
Yeah.
That's what it was. The graduations and stuff. But
so tomorrow is the
tomorrow.
Food Festival.
Okay.
Hold on. Hey, caller, introduce yourself.
Hey, what's going on? This your boy D, man. You know it's up there like granny.
No. Hold on. You gotta.
This is Bobby Brown.
No, that's comedian.
D, because you called me.
That ain't your boy D.
Yeah,
that's comedian Damian Davis.
Then he called and checked us and told us that
you gotta do that though. I unite with that, my brother.
I comedian on that.
But you got to tell people how you want to be addressed, man.
I was just testing y'all.
It was funny. Somebody testing somebody.
Can you turn up in my headphones? Look, that's all.
Hey, check it out. Good morning. How y'all doing?
Good morning.
Y'all got my girl Chandra and Q and me and JF was talking the other day, and Q, you called me. Hey man, we need to put something real dope together at Urban Drinkery, man. I want to do something. We need to come up with some idea, man. I think it'll be so great. We could do something real great just to put a little something together, man.
Yeah, most definitely. Because June is Black Music Month, so we're gonna be doing a lot of different things. Popping up with different things at Urban. So I welcome it.
Yeah. So we got get some things together, man. Cause I got some comedians coming down, Ryan and Jude, that want to do some things. And so I want to do something real special, man, like some nice, you know what I'm saying? Because it's a nice vibe. I had a good time.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that. I had a good time, man. So I'm with that.
Okay, perfect.
I'm glad y'all passed the test, too. It's comedian, Damien.
Oh, yeah. No, man, look, when I heard that, brother, because I'll tell you why that resonates with me so much, because I've been in spaces, and I introduce myself as Brother John. Mm-hmm. And they say, "Oh, nice to meet you, John." And I say, "No, it's Brother John."
Right.
Like, I have to remind you, like, I'm Brother John.
It's a title. It's a whole situation.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. Like, you're going to acknowledge my humanity.
Yeah.
Because here's the other part of that. We was talking about boy, girl. And a lot of times Black people are not perceived as human beings. And so when I say brother, that's an acknowledgement of my humanity. And it's a reminder that I'm not like everybody else that you've been dealing with. Right. So when you say comedian Damian Davis, I appreciate that because that's intentionality, and it speaks to what you're doing and your vision that you have for your career and what you're trying to do, my brother. So you might have been, you know, saying it in jest, but I unite with that, and I totally respect that. And so anytime I mention your name, I'll definitely put that on there.
Comedian.
Yeah.
But I think you should give people names
It's like doctor. It's like somebody who go to school
you
to
just
be a
respect
doctor.
them, they craft and what they trying to do.
And I'm glad you said that, Brother John, because that's the main thing. I feel a title should be given, it should be earned.
That's
and
right.
And I know that I did a lot, and I continue to do a lot to put this lifestyle out there in the world, and from skits to especially go hard for the city, try to keeping coming in the city and everything. Wherever I go, I represent. And that's why I said that. For now, I'm comedian Damian Davis, because that's what I do, and that's what I want to be known for, my comedy.
That's right.
I go hard for it.
That's
I'm passionate about this. So
well, look,
I earned this title. So
you know you got the full support. You got the full support of the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club, my brother. But look, we talking with Chandra here about this Natural Food Festival, man.
Y'all go ahead, man. I love y'all, man. Keep doing what you're doing,
you too,
man.
big bro.
All right.
You should respect people's names.
Yeah.
Most
especially when they're telling you this is how I want to be addressed.
Yeah. Even like I'd be big on names. Like I say, that's the next to life. That's the first gift your parents gave you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so people take their names very serious. Like
it's a form of acknowledgement. So you know,
real deal.
People want that. People want that. But yeah.
All right, so
Ron just said he need to change his diet.
Well, this weekend, you know, you can come and check out different ways of healthy eating. Right, so we're introducing you to plant-based eating.
So give me I want like the backstory.
Yeah,
this is not the first time.
No, it's not. We did it back in 2019. Well, Burg Cares, we formed an initiative called 3 Black Vegan Girls, and that was just to introduce our community into plant-based eating. You know, we feel as though Charlene and I, you know, things start with what you put in your mouth, like everything. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, if we tackle that root of the problem, you know, just changing up your diet a little bit, you know, you probably start feeling better and things like that. Because that not probably, but for real. You know, I went plant-based for a year. And I felt the difference. You know what I mean? Slept better, just felt better. Wake up like, you know.
I went for 30 days and it was amazing.
Yeah, see, and you just have to get over that hump, you know, because your body's so used to things that you've been eating for years, and then you kind of change it up, and you know, all of it is habit. So you're trying to break that habit.
Good food that you can eat.
It is.
Oh my God. But I had to have somebody make it for me.
Right. So that's why also this Natural Food Fest is important, because like I said, it's introducing you to healthy meals, showing you how to cook plant-based. So that was the important, the knowledge of doing this. You know what I'm saying? There's that whole thing about teaching a man to fish and eat forever. So this is what we're trying to do with this Natural Food Fest, is just really introduce you to different ways of plant-based eating. We have a wonderful host, Mr. Johnny Douglas, and his name is Mr. Hungry Vegan on YouTube.
Okay.
So he just cooked different meals and just, you know, just expose you to that life right there. And that's what really the Natural Fest is about. Like the first one was 2019 over there in the Deuces.
Yeah.
And
then the following year was,
with COVID,
the world changed.
Yeah. So we just kind of put it down and just tried to focus on our lives. You know what I'm saying? Just keeping it all together. But Charlene and I are just excited that we can bring it back and just bigger. Now we have over 50 vendors that's going to be out there on 22nd and 9th Avenue. We are shutting 22nd down to set the vendors up in the street and things that. We have a health and healing corner that's sponsored by Metro Inclusive Health, so you'll be able to get your blood pressure checks, HIV testing, all that good stuff there, just to get you and just so you can know your numbers and stuff like that. Start there, you know what I mean? And then you come over to the main park where you'll have a demonstration. Shout out to Chef. He's gonna do a quick plant-based demonstration of the southern biscuits and gravy. I can't wait for that. I can't wait to see that. Yes, plant-based. So that's what I'm saying. Our foods that we normally eat, we can switch them up the plant-based. You know what I mean?
So
So
you think that you're limited.
No,
You really think when you hear it, you be like, oh man.
Limited and expensive too.
But
it's really not once you figure out the frequency on how it goes, you know, because I know when I started, like you, I was having people make my meals and stuff because it is kind of time consuming too, cutting up the vegetables and doing all this.
It takes time to eat.
It does.
It may take a little bit more time, but it's not as expensive. Because when
It's
you go
not.
to McDonald's, it's $10 for a meal.
A bad one, but it's crazy because you're still gonna be hungry later after
because
you
it's
know.
all carbs. You're not getting them for real life.
Yeah.
So and you think you can get a vegetable or a plant-based meal for even less than that.
Right. But I know Brother Donnie sent us something that talked about the cost and the expense associated with it, and how those who are in. Brother Donnie, what was that? You can remind me. It was talking about the systemic aspects of it and how, you know, our communities, specifically District 7, when you have these high concentrations of poverty, the impact that and how that shows up in our diets and nutrition.
Diets and nutrition are directly the result of not only income and poverty, but accessibility.
Right.
So the accessibility to fresh food, to fresh produce. And as these accessibilities change, so do the behaviors and the characteristics of the neighborhoods.
Right.
Children's mental health increases positively when they have access to healthy foods.
Right.
When they don't have access to overprocessed foods. When they have access to fresh produce. When they have access to vegetables. These things have a direct material effective change because everything is created by the material conditions that surround it.
Right.
So when you have areas like District 7, areas that are heavily food deprived, then you find that there's a systemic change and a systemic degradation of life that the individuals who live in those areas experience. They do. Our youth do poorly in school. As employees, we do poorly on the job. We don't have the energy. We're more lethargic. And then the sick care industry. Notice.
Yeah, not healthcare.
Not the healthcare.
The sick care.
Clear on that.
The sick care industry profits off of the disease that's created from a poor nutrition industry that profits from our poverty.
Wow.
So we end up paying 3 times over.
Well, it's a vicious circle. And then the piggyback off of, you know, accessibility, hence the Deuces Food Forrest that we're going to be opening up that day. So you have access to, you know, fresh fruits and veggies and things that we're going to set up there so the community can come and shop and be able to get those things. Also, we're going to have planters, where different organizations can sponsor a planter, and that's their planter. So they'll have herbs or fruits and things that they want to plant, and we'll be able to give that to the community.
So we can do a see that planter?
Yes, most definitely.
Let me find some gardeners first, though.
Yeah, I know. Listen, take a village with everything, boy.
Look, I'll be over there like, hey, man, we need a little more.
Right.
Sprinkle that over there.
And we know through studies that were done that the entirety of the south side of St. Petersburg is a brownfield.
Right.
The entirety of the south side of St. Petersburg is dangerous to break the soil because there are intoxicants and contaminants.
Yes, that's why we got those raised beds.
Tell us exactly
so we have to have the raised beds. We cannot, you know, dig in the dirt in that area, which is 22nd and 9th Avenue South, where this food forest is going to be. We can't dig in the dirt there. I think it's due to the oil and everything that's under there. So we're going to do the raised beds and kind of keep the stuff going with that, you know. I don't have a green thumb, anybody, but I'm trying, you know.
I mean, we all have a part to play.
We're learning together.
And your role, you creating the space,
right,
for those who have the green.
I'm good with creating the spaces for different things.
Kristen McClendon and Christine Joyner did the Melrose Lead study.
Yeah,
you want to see it was published.
Yes.
You know, just type in Melrose Lead study and it'll come up. That's my wife.
Right.
I'm lucky to have a wife that's an environmental scientist that can second everything that you're saying. Because now we have to make solutions to mitigate the problems that we're in. We didn't control the land when we came here. So they put us on the worst part of the land when we came here.
Yeah.
So now we can't dig in the land and grow our collard greens or sugar cane like our aunties and grandmas used to do. Right?
Yeah, I
We
used to
can't
do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was life there, right?
Yeah.
So
No, and it's
steps are being taken.
just a pause on that for a second, because like we're having trouble with the Sankofa development because of the condition of the land. Because it's a brown field.
Kind of slowed it down.
Because like there's problems with the dirt. You know what I'm saying? And
You know,
like,
when
we're
I
trying
was
to build retail and build houses.
Yeah, when I was actually digging on that land, I found it was a lot of rocks and things down there. It's not soil. So, you know, we have to bring stuff in. We had
so that's why we're doing raised beds.
Yeah,
right?
we actually just did a interview with 10 Action News, and we had our time lapse video of us, with the mulch. And just us putting the mulch down, because we put the mulch down, then we were doing the boxes, the cardboard boxes, so everything can turn into like a what you call it?
Biodegrade.
Yeah,
the compost.
The compost. Yeah, eventually to turn. So we're doing certain, multiple things at one time. We're trying to turn the soil. We're also trying to, grow the healthy fruits and vegetables for the community, and also having our urban farmers have a place to come and sell their produce that they actually go and pick for us to bring back and sell.
Come on now.
Absolutely.
Because some places they were just they didn't want them there to be selling that. So now they have actual place to come.
So we're talking about lack of access to fresh fruits and vegetables.
Yeah.
So when the watermelon man pull up though, they shooing them off.
Yeah, they shooing them off,
Don't
saying
worry about
things
it,
like
we got a spot for you.
Come on.
Don't worry about it.
That's basically what Charlene and I are basically saying. It's like we have a place for you to do this, and the Deuces Food Forrest is the place for you.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And so, give us the time.
The times is going to be from 9 to 3. We do have a kids corner. We know how the kids love video games and things like that. So we have the video game truck. We also have popcorn, snow cones for everyone, and then everybody can just come and taste different plant-based items and stuff like that. So it's gonna be really a real fun time.
And that's tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow. Tomorrow.
Not next Saturday, not May 20th. Tomorrow.
Tomorrow is May 20th.
It is. Boy, it came fast.
We doing it though. We doing it tomorrow.
And I just want to, I want to shout out the team for really stepping in and helping us get this together, because, doing events is not an easy thing. You know what I mean? It's really not. It's like, you're right. You go in because you have this vision and it's going to be great. And then the second part is actually getting people there.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And the team understanding the vision. You know what I'm saying? So,
and even then, and here's the other part that I think is underappreciated with this thing, and this is what I would like to be able to contribute to solving, is when you have these type of visions and they line up with stated missions and stated objectives of the city, having the support of the city to go through that process, because sometimes navigating these city procedures and processes and permits and things that you need
is difficult.
Like I know most people who, if you've never done an event, you have no appreciation for how many times you got to go sit down and talk to them and explain to them like, no, this is why we're doing this.
Right.
No, that's not what we're doing. Yes, that's those are the that's the part that make people not do it.
Oh yeah. That's why I say,
and then they'll just say, man, they don't
forget it. And that's the thing. And sometimes unfortunately, that's what they want to happen sometimes. So that's the thing. Don't get frustrated. It's just a little process. You see this vision so bright, so it's for you. So just do it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's not the journey ain't easy.
That's right. Take good notes and keep them names.
Exactly.
And then give them to your council member, because that's what we're working on.
Right.
How can we make these things?
Yeah. And then the next time you do it, you know the process.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So you're a little bit better equipped to go through it. So
and that was the genius of a Malcolm X and a Ho Chi Minh.
Yeah.
Is that they were organizers and mobilizers.
That's right.
Yeah.
You guys just talked about the second part.
Yeah.
You talked about the back end.
Yeah.
That back end is organization.
We
can mobilize.
Yeah.
We can talk it.
But
boy, you got to get them organized.
Fire them up and inspire them.
That's it.
But what do you do with them when they wake up?
Right.
Yeah.
Spirit just means breath.
That's right.
You got them breathing, but now what do you do with them?
Right. What do you do with them?
That's right.
This is true. That execution. Exactly.
So we have an Ask Kiana that's really right in line with this, and I think we can transition and get right into the Ask Kiana. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on this as well. You ready, Kiana?
I guess.
Okay, so dear Kiana, hold on, let me find it again. Dear Kiana, I'm facing a situation where my partner has gained weight and seems to be lacking motivation to address it. As someone who is passionate about fitness, I'm waiting on it to read across the bottom. As someone who is passionate about fitness and leading a healthy lifestyle, I want to support them in their journey towards better health. However, they don't seem to be motivated or taking any steps to make positive changes. I'm waiting. How can I approach this situation in a supportive and encouraging way to help my partner find... Hold on, let me see if I can just get it another way, because it's saying...
It's like reading it out.
Yeah. I'm just trying to keep up with the ticker. Okay. So here you go.
Right.
Here you go. All right, do over. Take two. Dear Kiana, I'm facing a situation where my partner has gained weight and seems to be lacking motivation to address it. As someone who is passionate about fitness and leading a healthy lifestyle, I want to support them in their journey towards better health. However, they don't seem to be motivated or taking any steps to make positive changes. How can I approach this situation in a supportive and encouraging way to help my partner find the motivation to make healthier choices? Ask Kiana.
Okay, so we do have some experts in here, right?
That's why I said it's like perfect timing.
It was. But I will tell you, one is so if it's your partner and you're big on health and healthy choices and things like that, then it starts how you do it gently is you start to cook what you want to be in the household, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
You start to give them the choices, because usually the person who cooks, everybody eat, right? When you come in there, if you want them to do healthy choices, start giving them those options and eliminating. If you want them to stop drinking soda, stop buying soda and bringing it to the house. And then slowly but surely you'll see the change. Now, weight is a real sticky subject, right? You know what I mean? You can really offend somebody right there. But it's something easy to say, hey, let's take a stroll, let's take a walk. You can make it about a conversation with y'all, and then you're still getting what you want, and this person not being offended at the same time. Right? And then on top of that, if they're not motivated, you got to find out what's going on. Because usually they're dealing with something bigger than what you think. And so when you're depressed, it's hard for you to get out
to
of
get
that
motivated.
Mode, right?
Yeah.
And let me tell you, people look in the mirror, people put on their clothes, they know when they gain weight. Nobody need to tell you that you done got fat.
Nobody want to hear that. Nobody want to hear that.
I don't know though, because I woke up and I had a whole bunch of gray hair on my face, and ain't nobody say nothing about that. I'm like, where all this come from?
But you know who did?
I feel the same.
But you know who did say
you.
Okay.
Right.
That's true.
I'm saying. And I mean, usually most people want to find a way to be healthy. People want the motivation. They just don't know how to get there. And if they can't find it themselves, you can gently start to push them there. Do small activities. You be like, let's go to the pool. You could do things like, let's go to the park.
Suggest more activity going.
And then you start to be the change you want to see. You know what I mean? Again, it starts at your house. You start bringing healthy choices in your houses. Like, if you're a man or lady like to snack, start getting healthy snacks out there so the chips are not there. You know what I mean? And if it is some type of chip, do the bake. Do some of the little carrot little chips they have. There's definitely healthy options that you can then start to do. So you don't have to be forceful. To make a change in somebody's life. And that would be my my suggestion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, I'm a piggyback off Q, what she was saying. Basically, you know, if you don't know what's going on in that person's life, I would say sit down with them first and see like what's going on. Maybe they just have a lot on their plate. And I'm just speaking from a personal standpoint because, you know, I gotta plan a wedding for next year. And I have to get on my grizzy with. And then my partner is already there, you know. It's motivation. And then my partner, he's already there, like, yeah, let's work out. I'm like, I ain't got time right now. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's really hard to find.
It is. You gotta make it. And me knowing like how much that goes into like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I have to change this up. It's, you know, it is very hard too. But long as you're not being disrespectful to your partner, and you know, like okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead on and do this, and maybe you know they'll follow suit soon, because you know you with a person for a while, you start to take on their little characteristics and stuff like that. So yes, buy different food in the home. You know what I'm saying? So they don't have access. I remember I had to do that to myself, with just change my refrigerator, you know, completely.
Yeah.
But you know, like I say, you'll start to catch on. You know what the end goal is, what you guys are trying to do, and then your partner is just trying to make sure you're healthy, and you know, we together for a while.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? So
some me time, like y'all time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you could do that. You
like,
could do that.
Let's ride the bicycles together, do something, because I mean, most couples like to spend some time together.
Right.
I mean, if you're in a healthy relationship, I hope you like to spend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Make it fun. You know, sometimes you know that's the issue too. It's not fun. You know what I'm saying? Let's switch it up, or just walking around or whatever. It's not fun. But
what did I say the other day? I hate everything about my worked typically, but the results.
Yeah. But the results.
Yeah. I like
just know you do have to put in the work
you
to do it. And sometimes that's discouraging too, knowing how much work you got to put in. And like I say, that time, but you do have to make that time for yourself.
So we did training with Brother Donnie, my wife and I, and you had a very successful group training that you were doing. You were doing personal training. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. What would you offer to this writer?
I wouldn't tell the writer. Okay, first things first. So I'm a masculinity coach. So now I'm going to speak to men specifically. Men specifically.
So women, listen up. He's speaking to
the men. He's talking to the men. I say, y'all listening.
Because that always end up turning into something.
Going left.
Okay, I'll tell you why I go left if it goes left today.
Okay, help this.
Why I go left.
Do I need to get a lower word that says we're speaking to the men?
Yeah, somebody go get in the butt.
The vast majority.
No.
Yeah.
And I know why.
Yeah. Okay.
The vast majority of men have a masculine core. The vast majority of men have a masculine core. Masculinity calls for what they call 4 P's, which are 4 principles and virtues of masculinity that govern masculinity. One is as a provider, the other is as a protector, the third is as a problem solver, and the fourth is as a procreator. So now we're talking about the realm of problem solving. So let's problem solve this in a masculine way. In order to understand masculinity, you have to understand it's the polar opposite of femininity. In order to understand it as the polar opposite of femininity, you have to understand that you do not do the same thing when communicating with women as you do with communicating with men. The masculine grows by challenge. The feminine grows with praise. So if you want to express to the feminine anything that agrees with her feminine core, then you have to do it through praise. Let me tell you something. I'm putting you up on game now, y'all. I'm sprinkling you like E40
Sprinkle me, baby. Sprinkle me. That's all you did. Yeah.
You can get, as a man, you can get a lot further with, I love the way you look in your workout clothes. Then you need to get up and work out.
Oh, my God. Boy, you bet not.
You can get a lot further. You can get a lot further with
masculinity coach. Listen, 30 years of being
you can get a lot further with, you are so sexy when you sweat. Then you can, listen, we need to go out there and I know it's 90 degrees.
Yeah.
So you have to praise your woman into her feminine core. You have to praise your woman into her being her best self.
Yeah.
And then you can grow the femininity there.
Yeah.
She's not a carburetor.
Right.
Wow.
Don't speak to her like you have to fix a carburetor.
Yeah.
She's not. Don't think of her as something that needs to be fixed. I'm only talking to the brothers now.
Yeah.
think of her as a flower that needs to be watered.
Come on, black man.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you have a flower that needs to be watered, you don't think, oh, well, you know what? I just got to go dig it up and plant another one.
Right.
You think that with enough care, with enough love, and with enough presence, then I can change the situation that we're dealing with now into a situation that's beneficial for me and that flower.
I can see myself like doing this too, right? Because I'm like, if you think about this, like when you taking care of it, and I'm not a gardener, but just in my mind, you can see like, okay, how you would talk to a plant, you know, you need some water. Your leaves.
They say you got to talk to a plant to make it grow. Yeah,
but you ain't looking like, oh, your leaves dying.
Right.
And your roots is bad.
You're looking funny.
Let me give you some water. Let me pluck these leaves.
Right.
Yeah, see?
It's delivery.
That's what it is.
Yeah, and she come back, don't talk to me like a carburetor.
Come on now.
Hey, what type of argument is this?
It's a little carburetor. What just happened, and I just loved it because he said it in the man version of what I was saying in the female version.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Which was so beautiful.
Right.
It happened like that sometimes.
And see, nobody jumped on you today.
Yeah.
We understood. I like that. You know, you was gentle with the words. So,
some
you know.
truths are a little more difficult to take than others.
That's true.
But you are right. Men are motivated by competition.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Y'all can't be motivated. Like,
challenge.
You definitely challenge. Like, I can outdo you. They gonna be like, well, let's go. Like, you know, so.
No, not so much. Me and my wife tried that with cardio. My wife is the cardio. And I posted this one. My wife do cardio. I just like lifting heavy stuff.
So then what you do is do what you like to do.
Yeah, when we go, like, she just, she kind of just zone out, blank out, and just be gone.
Yeah, I like the cardio too, so I understand that.
I mean, I like it in theory, but it's just something about that little pain I get in my chest.
Oh, yeah, a little too much.
That make me not like it so much no more.
What you learn with workouts, you gotta find something that you enjoy.
Yeah, that is key.
You have to find something because it's miserable doing stuff constantly that you don't like. And when I worked out with Donnie, there's things, but there was some stuff that I really did like. Like I say, I like the boxing. I love the boxing. I love swimming. So this is why swimming worked really well for me. I hated running. But you want me to
you're a little mermaid, you.
But Donnie was so good is that like I would have to run anyway, and I knew I had to do it.
Oh yeah, I don't like running.
One day he was like, "Do you hear that?" And I'm like, "Hear what?" He's like, "You're not breathing so hard. Somebody is getting it."
Okay. Okay. There we go. That's that non-carburetor talk.
I love that.
That's right. Non-carburetor conversation. That's amazing.
That's good.
So thank you for that letter. Again, y'all can ask Kiana a question, send it in, put it in the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club inbox, and let us know what's on your mind. I mean, if you got, it's all about, self-care, relationships, or things like this. And I also like the way that they worded the question around how can I support you in this journey and in an encouraging way, not like, how can I get them to lose weight or I'm going to leave type stuff. So being supportive, being encouraging, I think that's a great start to moving the needle.
I mean, there's a lot of great stuff. So we got like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So listen, there's a lot of great stuff going on this weekend. Okay, tonight's Friday. Boom. Urban Drinking is going to be on and popping.
Yeah, we got Kinfolk tonight. DJ Donnie Love in the building.
Oh, DJ Donnie
Love. Donnie Love.
I love Donnie Love.
She definitely does her thing.
She gonna grace us.
I like DJs that like dance to they.
You can tell she love it, man.
Like she just playing the music like.
Right, she in it.
You don't want to dance. You look at DJ Donnie, you be like, "Oh,
she in her own little world over there, and she turning it up and just giving you life."
Love is playing music for herself.
Yes,
and y'all just get to witness it and watch.
You can tell she loved the craft.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? For real.
That's
tomorrow morning. Kick off at Urban Drinkery again.
Natural Food Fest over there on the Deuces in 9th Avenue South.
Then at 12 o'clock, Williams Park. The Black Business Expo that's there for the children. The STEAM program. Please register. It's free. If they want to enjoy the other part of it, the activities and all the great other stuff is $15 for the kids to enjoy. But other than that, it's free. Come out. There's going to be vendors, all that other stuff.
Cool,
at
cool.
1:30, I will be at Wild 23 in Tampa. So if you're looking for something upscale fashion, or that's what we'll be at for the fashion show, I will be there. It's so much stuff going on in the city that can pique anybody's interest.
I know Tampa is known for like a lot of fashion, different things and stuff like that. They have a whole fashion week up there.
And then, before you know it, it'll be First Friday. He said, she said.
Hey, he say.
That's right.
Come
and what you can do,
hang out with Kiana.
If you have community events, you can share those events with us on Facebook.com/St. Pete Calendar. And we keep a list. So if you got a flyer, just put it on there, and we'll share it. We'll make sure that it gets out. And also, if you want to promote, if you got like a marketing budget, make sure that you advertise with your radio station. Like, we do a lot of shout outs and recognition, but this is community radio, and we need sponsorships. We need, contributions and underwriting. And so if you do have an event and you got a marketing budget for it, don't forget about the radio station, 99.1 FM. 99 Jams, as well as the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club, is another way that you can help get the word out about what you got cooking.
Cool me.
Final thoughts. Always the same. Expand your gangster. Learn how to love yourself back into health.
There you go.
Love the people who are around you back into health.
I love it.
Only love can save us. Expand your gangster.
Oh, my God.
I love it. I'm going to quote 8-Ball MGG.
Okay.
All right,
with starships and rockets in a world that don't give a damn. In other words, you're going to have to put in the work because ain't nobody giving you nothing.
Come on.
Did you cook a great 8-Ball?
I'm a fan. They raised me.
Doing it wrong make glue, so trouble just gonna stick to you.
Hey, there you go.
Said 8-Ball in the don't get me started. Final thoughts? Is that where we at? That's what time it is, y'all.
Just a little bit.
Okay, no. I just want to thank everybody. I want to thank y'all for holding it down too. I know I've been like double dutching, so I'm in some time and I'm out some time. But I want to thank you all for holding down the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club.
Thank you for representing.
And I just love what's happening here. Love what's going on. The conversations that we be having. And I can say that. And this will be my final thought for real. You taught me about African American vernacular English.
Yes, AAV.
And I've been pulling the string on that. And the more I pull the string on it, the more comfortable I'm getting talking the way I talk, because like I just talk how I talk, and it's like how we talk. And so thank you for that. And that's another one of the things that happens in these spaces in the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club. So thank y'all for tuning in. There's more that needs to be done and needs to be said. So appreciate y'all.
Listen. Support this weekend. Support.
Yes.
Your presence is needed, because then if you can tell somebody else, then you can be responsible for somebody else getting the knowledge that they may not have been able to get.
That's true.
So go out there and support. There's a lot of stuff out here in the city, and we want to do better, so we got to do better.
Right.
And so be the change you want to be. Write down those 5 things. Right, or more. Again, appreciate life. There's so much stuff to be grateful for. And that's it.
Yeah. All right. Well, this has been the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club. I'm your brother John.
Oh, this is Kiana.
And it's the intellectual gangster, your brother Donnie.
And we out. Believe and do good.
This is Robert Boyd at Deuces Corner in South St. Petersburg, which has been a staple in this community for literally generations. So Charlene and Shudra thought no better place to bring back the Natural Food Festival.
The Deuces is sort of like the heart of the African American community. It has been the heart of the art, culture, economic center for many, many years.
Charlene Edwards and Shudra Allison started the Natural Food Festival back in 2019.
The whole idea was to introduce plant-based eating to Black and brown communities, and really just tell people about the benefits.
Unfortunately, the pandemic put the festival on a long hiatus, but this Saturday it's back, and with a new addition, the grand opening of the Deuces Food Forrest.
We are lacking of healthy options in our community. So the Deuces Food Forrest is set up to bring some of our urban produce to be able to sell and set up, so we'll have those options.
A project years in the making, Charlene and Shudra are now hoping to turn it over to the public.
recruiting the community to help build it,
Right.
to help sustain it, and then tell us what they want to see there.
Right.
So
Right.
it's
That's
not
important.
just us pushing information. It's a two-way street where people tell us what they're interested in, and we make that available.
Right. At the end
for
of the
them.
day, it is for the community.
And during the festival is the perfect time for families to try some of those healthier options.
Open up our palates with some mindful tasting so that you can taste something new, something different, and really kind of roll it around in your head. as
Right,
to
really
how that
think
makes
about
you-
it, yeah.
Think about how that makes you feel.
In South St. Pete, Robert Boyd, ABC Action News. This is Robert Boyd at